Afternoon, crap to cream. So parts have arrived now. My servo repair kit has arrived. So yes, all the parts to do that. So I'll progress that. Not right now though, I've got other bits and pieces I need to do. So this is the servo out of the so I found a man over east who had some parts. So he had a late pedal box, so I've had that blasted and I've painted that now. So that's a big win. I just need to get a few other little bits and pieces for that. So that's the servo off this one, and this is my servo that I'm going to rebuild. Some parts arrived from the UK, so I got the cable guides that go underneath the car and the big one that goes in the middle, because all the ones that I've got it on are pretty munted. It's unusual, you don't get this in the servo kit, so you don't get a non-return valve in the servo kit, so I've had to order that separately, but that's not going to stop me progressing. I've cleaned the inside of here out, and I've put a bit of cold galv in there, paint. Same with this side where there was any damage or like a little bit of corrosion, so all these seals here now will get replaced. So I'll pick this out of here, and then this seal will come out of here, and the new seals come in, so I'm just leaving it assembled so I remember how it all goes back together again. I've now painted the heater box, so the heater box has been painted. There you go, Karsten. Got my original stickers. I had some left over from the other build that I did, so I've done that, and then all that's been painted with cold galv inside, so I'm not gonna, and as you might have guessed, there's always a bit that you missed, so yep, you missed a bit, so before you tell me in the comments, so I'll just have to paint that. And I've got the foam now to go in the middle, to go onto the heater core to seal it against the inside of the box. So I've got that now, so that's, I can progress that. I still haven't got all the clips back yet, so this is one I had left over from the other one. I'm getting them all CAD plated so that they don't rust. I went to the trouble of taking this master cylinder apart, cleaning it all, honing it, and then I found one on my shelf which I had left over from the other car, left over like you do, you know, you just have master cylinders left over. Anyway, I'll progress the servo possibly tomorrow. These are just general bits and pieces. I've got a gear stick plug now because I don't need that, because I've now put the MX-5 gearbox in, so that I can plug that off. I'm now about to go and use my $30 grinder to go and cut the floor. So yes, I've been looking at a couple of other people's YouTube videos, and they say to take this guard off so that you can see the line that you're cutting. So I'll put that back on as soon as I finish this little job. I think that's about it for down here now. I don't think there's anything else. Oh, the floor pan's arrived. So this is a complete floor pan, you can't buy sections. So I need to cut out somewhere down here and then weld that in. So it's unfortunate, but I'm not going to the extremes of replacing the whole floor pan. It's a bit of a waste, but yeah, somebody else has patched it up, as you might have seen in another video, and they just put a plate over the top here. So I'm sort of trying to do it half right by cutting out an existing floor pan. You can, it was like, I think $80 for the whole thing, so it seemed like relatively inexpensive for what I'm going to achieve with it. Hasn't got any holes for the seats, so I'll have to re-drill them when I get myself organised. Got to paint the pedals, and what I'm going to do with this, right, because the old centre console had a light up here and the radio, and then this is a later console, but because I've got now a boost gauge and an AFR, sorry, air fuel ratio gauge, I'm now going to put these in here. So I've made a little guide here so I can put the hole saw in there and then drill a 52mm hole in here and here. because the original dash has got the heater controls in it, so I don't need to have the heater controls here, and then this seemed the best way to do this. So yeah, and they have 3 gauges here. It'll look pretty neat, I think. I do believe. Alright, so that's what the plan is for that. When I'm just waiting for my 52mm hole saw to arrive, then I can progress that. And now I will go up to the other shed and I'll cut the floor out. I think that's about it down here, I think. Yeah, alright, that's it. I'll catch you in a minute. So here we are. Now we're up in the top shed, and you can see that I've now marked out where I'm going to cut the floor. So I realise there's still some corrosion here and round and about, but it's not as bad. So I've been watching other people doing this exercise and trying to get all the good tips from everybody, and what they seem to do is they mark where they're going to cut with this tape, with masking tape, so they get the straight line, which is like a really good idea. So I'm not going to bore you with watching me doing the cutting. So I'm going to put my goggles on, get my grinder out, protect my good eye, my new eye, protect that, and just grind the floor out. We'll see what that looks like when I've finished. There's no major structural parts underneath here, so I'm inside that just. So I'm not going to cut into the chassis rail underneath, and the tow hitches, well, sorry, the lifting hitches around here somewhere in the middle. So I've sort of gauged where I'm going to cut. So I'm just doing a repair on the floor pan and not getting the chassis. I didn't really fancy doing all of this. I didn't really fancy cutting all this out and putting a hole, because there's been another panel put in here at some point. The other side's fine. There's no damage on the other side at all. It's like new. It's just this side has obviously got a bit wet at some point, and the carpet has just yeah, caused it to rot. So I'm taking all that soggy carpet out. I'm going to put some rust guard on here, and then I'm going to put the butyl sound deadening on there and give it a bit more weather protection from above, hopefully. I'll put a couple of holes in at the front. Anyway, I'm babbling on here. I'll just get on with cutting it, and then I'll show you what it looks like with the hole in it when I've finished, very shortly, hopefully. So there we go, an hour later, and we now have a hole in the floor. So I'm now going to cut a patch out of the new floor pan I've got, and then I'll come up and clean all this up, take all the masking tape off, get the vacuum cleaner in there and clean all the grinding bits off there. Now there's a bit of a lap joint on the side here where the sill joins the inner and the outer sill join, so I suppose I could have cut a little bit further in on that one. However, I didn't, and it was a grinder, so that's the end of that. So now at a crash course in welding. Got myself a welding machine, a Unimig 185, which was on 40% off, and it seems to be like quite a good machine. There's MIG, TIG, manual metal arc, gas, gasless, does everything. So apart from do the welding, right, so that's where I have to get involved. So there's the piece that I cut out, and that's the top. That's the underneath. So whilst it had underbody sealant on it, it doesn't protect it from above, and that's that lap joint that I was talking about. You might be able to see that. So I'm going to have to do something about that. Not sure what yet, but it is what it is. It's cut out, and yep, I'll use that as a pattern now to go and mark out the other one, so that I get it the right size. I'll cut it oversized because I've got to allow for the thickness of the disc. Yes, you might notice that I've got the big grinder here, the bigger hand grinder. This one verging on useless, but very good for the corners and up right in the corners here. So that was good for that. But as for cutting this thick edge down here, which I obviously didn't know I was going to be doing, yeah, it struggled a bit with that, to say the least. So I had to go for and get the old Big Bertha out, and yeah, that certainly cut the timing down considerably. Otherwise I would have been here and grown a beard while I was doing that. Anyway, I'll go and cut it out now, and then I'll look at welding it up. So I'll decide what I'm going to do first, whether I'm going to do the servo first or whether I'm going to do this. I don't know yet. Yeah, the servo's mechanical and goes back together easy. This is welding, and yeah, while I was a good gas welder 45 years ago, I'm not an expert. So I've been watching a lot of videos to get some hints and tips on how to do flux cord gasless welding, and some very good videos out there. So we'll see how that pays off, won't we? Thank you very much indeed again for your support. Getting near 100 videos now, and yeah, it's certainly never ever thought when I started doing this that that's where I would be at. So yeah, thanks very much indeed for the comments and the subscriptions. Hopefully I'll get to 1,000 at some point, and then yeah, that seems to be my goal, right? Get to 1,000 subscribers. So I'm nearly at 700 now, so got a ways to go yet. Oh, carpets, took the carpets out, obviously, saved myself catching fire, and I've got to put that back on again. Yeah, so yeah, lots of little bits to do. I'll put my inertia reel seat belts back in, and not the fixed ones which were in here originally. Okay, so thank you very much indeed for watching, and yep, I'll be in touch. Have a nice weekend.